All right, so that bag in the intro, the Peak Design Lumix branded one, I actually won from a photo contest for shooting on the S5 2X. And I'll post the photo somewhere. That's the photo that won me that bag. I won second place. So that's a little snippet of my time with Lumix. But today we're doing camera Maoism. Lumix, welcome to the struggle session. So you've probably seen the specs. The S9 is a full frame camera. It's compact, no EVF, no mechanical shutter, and comes with maybe the funniest lens imaginable. If I had to summarize, I'd say it's basically a worse FP with better AF and IBIS. I say worse because one, I like the FP, way better build quality, and all the color profiles offer pretty much everything that you would want out of the LUTs. There's only so many aesthetic looks that you can make, and the FP already covers all that. And on top of the additional features, better build quality. I haven't held the S9. I'm assuming it at least feels like cheap plastic, although it's, I'm sure it's magnesium alloy. So a big question people have is, who is this camera even aimed at? It's supposed to be for the TikTokers or whatever, the booming vlogging Zoomer industry that it doesn't seem any bigger than it was before. So it's supposed to be geared towards that, but a lot of the video features are hamstrung. It does still have open gate, which is nice. But for the price difference, you get way more camera to just go with an S5 II or S5 IIX. So priced at $1,500, absolutely not worth it. And not, it's laughable at that price point to even offer that. I'm sure it'll go on sale. Maybe there'll be some good deals, but yeah, at that price point, I just honestly can't believe it. It really says a lot about what's going wrong with the camera industry. So yeah, questionable if it reaches that audience at that price point. Um, yeah, sell it at 1,000. Maybe you'd have a good deal. I haven't checked other used prices lately, but I'm sure the S5 II or even an FP could be had for a much better price used and would be a way better deal in my opinion. So questionable if it's aimed at the Zoomers, the TikTokers. So what about photographers, people that, want a maybe an X100 competitor or like a Q for much cheaper? Does it fill that niche? No, there's no mechanical shutter. There's no EVF, things that photographers want. Now, I usually could have offered these things or even, well, they can't do an additional one. There's no hot shoe. There's no modularity to it. So can't have an EVF, never going to get a shutter, obviously. So it fails in that regard as well. Now, the one thing that I think they truly got right was the new LUT app and LUT management. I think they're basically trying to accomplish what Zeiss failed at with the ZX1 years ago. Being able to tweak a look and then just go out and shoot that look is a good idea. So the best part of this is I'm sure that functionality will come to the S5 II and S5 IIX. They already have the LUT feature, but just the management and the editing. I think that's a smooth experience. I think that is something that you actually want to simplify. Most people don't understand, they need a certain amount of points in their LUT for it to work with the Lumix stuff. And people don't want to tweak with that. They want it to be as easy to load as film simulations. So it makes sense to simplify. I think that's a good call. Props to Lumix on that one. The one critique I have, like I said, I do think it's hamstrung in a way. I know it uses the vlog profile to then add these LUTs to, which in my use, I think affected the RAWs. There's certain ISO settings that it needs to be at. It's been a little bit since I've had the camera, so forgive me if I'm wrong. Feel free to give me the Redditor explanation if I'm off about that. But if I remember correctly, it uses vlog and your RAWs will be jacked up. So that's one area where maybe they could do some work. I don't know how they'd fix it, but that's a constructive criticism. Now the lens. So they're offering a 26 millimeter f8 lens with this camera. They're saying it's for free, which, okay, I don't want it anyways. Don't know who this is for. You could send me literal trash instead of this lens, and it would be the same thing. It could be old food, apple cores, gum wrappers, anything else, and it would be effectively the same thing. This lens is garbage. If you're in L mount and you want something like this, but better, just get the 7 Artisans 35 mil f5.6. It's cheaper and will be better, but also weigh it against a more functional lens. Do you really want to sacrifice for a little bit of size difference? That's something you gotta question and sort out for yourself. Most importantly, why I'm critiquing this lens so hard, the Nikon Z 26 mil f2.8 exists. So it proves that a better pancake lens is possible. L mount is just choosing not to offer it. They made a bad lens on purpose. Now, it is crystal clear to me when you see a release like this in general, the lens, the camera, that they don't want to offer a pancake lens because it might compete with other L mount partners. So looking at the Leica Q, and then even across with other OEMs like the Fuji X100, if you offered the S9 with a good EVF and a mechanical shutter, well, it might draw people away from the other full frame compacts or APS-C compacts that they want so badly. And if you don't think they're doing protectionism, ask yourself why Sigma has 324 millimeters and haven't refreshed their 28 millimeter from the DSLR era, but instead just recently decided to refresh a zoom that no one asked for. And why doesn't Lumix have a 28 mil at all? Again, I would say there's no conspiracy here. It's just protectionism. And they want to protect, well, in this case, Leica mainly, but across the other manufacturers too. And before you mention the I series as a compact solution, I've owned a ton of it, and they're really not that compact. None of them are pancakes, and also none of them are 28 mil. Now, the other alarming part of this release, it's certainly not the first camera to do it, but there's an ongoing trend of e-shutter only cameras. Now, maybe it started with the FP or the ZV series, whatever. But we're seeing this more and more. And I think what it signals is that they basically want to do to shutters what they did to the OVF. Now, I know EVFs have their advantages. Being mirrorless has its advantages. It's different designs. Things change. I don't need an explanation. I get how it all works. But with the OVF, they took it away and then gradually sold you upgrades on resolution to try to mimic the resolution of real life of an OVF. Now we're up to 9.44 million dots now. How close that is to real life, couldn't tell you. But it's important to note, they took it away, sold you the upgrades. It's sort of a hyper reality situation where we need the most advanced technology imaginable to mimic this simple thing. That seems to be the goal for shutters. They are taking away a commodity part, something that's been around for quite a while, and then basically selling you the more expensive body with, it'll have a real shutter, or it'll scan fast enough that it doesn't matter. Think Z8, A9. No one, we don't really care for a global shutter, especially not photographers. But the important part is they want to make the shutter premium. Most photographers and even filmmakers can already accomplish everything they want to accomplish as far as readout speeds and shutter speeds and that kind of stuff. Selling these upgrades, no one's really asking for them. So where does it come from? Making it premium. And if you still don't believe me, if you think it's a crazy camera conspiracy, just look at Leica's entire business model. Rangefinders were made obsolete by SLRs. Now they're $9,000 because somehow we forgot how to make them. Don't laugh. So finally, this camera release basically says everything bad about the camera industry in one release. Lumix deserves a ton of criticism, and the best thing to come out of this will probably be the access to the app for other Lumix users. Maybe the second best part is them saying all the quiet parts out loud so you can be aware of all the awful trends that are coming in the camera industry. In the face of YouTube shilling, we tell the truth here. Yeah, that's going to be it for today. That's going to conclude our struggle session on Lumix. My name is Dylan. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Later.